Every day, there's a battle for your mind raging. Information coming from every angle with the will to deceive. Fear not. You found the place for truth. The voice of a generation that still has the will to believe in the greatest country in the history of the world. This is the Charlie Kirk Show. Buckle up. Here we go.
All right, welcome back to the Charlie Kirk Show. It is Tuesday, November 11th. Honored to be with you all. Stations across the country, Real America's Voice, streaming, podcasts. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, I'm joined by Blake Neff, our not-so-secret weapon. I'm Andrew Kolvet, executive producer of this fine show, and we have lots to get to. Yesterday, of course, was the 2-month anniversary of Charlie Kirk's assassination, and we had a campus tour event, the final one of the This Is the Turning Point tour. We rebranded it after Charlie's assassination. And it was at UC Berkeley, which is supposed to be the birthplace of the modern free speech movement.
Birthplace of the free speech movement and, like, persistent, layer of the worst, most, wretched elements of the ones that haven't moved to Portland or Seattle.
Yeah, Charlie visited the campus a few times. I was with him on one occasion, and we were struck by just this prevailing sense of nihilism and of depression. It's a very, I think, a dark place, but there are great people there, and Antifa swarmed our event last night. It became a massive news story, as most of you probably have heard by now. And I want to get right into it because we have Leila Yousef. She is part of our Cal Berkeley TPUSA chapter there. She's a second-year law student, and she was stuck in the mob, had a glass bottle and paint thrown on her. And I want to welcome her to the show to give us her firsthand account of what she saw and witnessed. Leila, welcome to the show. Thank you so much.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming on and making the time. I know it was probably a late evening for you all there and an eventful one. So why don't you just start by telling us what happened, what you saw, and we're going to unpack this piece by piece here.
Sure. It was absolutely a horrible experience with the Antifa protesters. Pretty much I finished class around 5:30. I walked over from the law school, and kind of it was clear that there were two different groups. It was the Antifa and the violent protesters carrying their signs. At that point, they had already started mocking Charlie Kirk's death, shouting slurs like Nazi, fascist to anyone walking by, wearing a MAGA hat or anything with the American flag on it. I saw people stepping on U.S. flags. And so then I ended up joining this line of people to enter when all of a sudden I start hearing 3 loud booms, and it sounded as if it was almost a bomb or gunshots going off. I later found out it was, I believe, some car revving or fireworks. And then all of a sudden I see a glass bottle being thrown above the crowd at the police officers. And all of a sudden the police officers, they kind of get into a formation, they put their visors on, and that's when the glass bottles getting thrown on us. And so I, at the time, was standing with a police officer. I was the first person in line in the barricade that at the time was open. So I ran through the barricade and I ran through the 2 lines of police officers, and I kind of hid beneath the police officers to be protected from a glass shard and bottle that was almost a few inches from my head.
Yeah, and so just so everybody's clear about what actually happened, and you were so close to it that you probably didn't understand the tactical formations that were happening. So these Antifa people, and I've got the whole rundown from our team, these Antifa thugs tried to basically block off the one entrance to the venue. And we could show the flyers. So this was a coordinated assault on this event. The flyers, what is the image, folks? I saw it here just a second ago. I want to put this up because I want people to understand. It's 141. Throw it up. Yeah. So
Berkeley, End Fascist Turning Point's youth-oriented campaign of incitement to violence.
Yeah, so what they're doing now is they're claiming that Turning Point is inciting violence by holding a free speech event in Charlie's honor, something he died for, something he was murdered for.
As always, our speech is violence. Their violence is speech.
Yeah, exactly. The whole upside down, bizarro world that is the radical left. So what they did is they cordoned everybody. They tried to block the one entrance, and what happened was we were begging the police. Our staff was begging the police to get involved to open this up, and it wasn't until actual violence started happening that the police finally, did something to block these people off and create safe passage. And they did sort of a thing that we experienced at UCLA a few years back, where they played with the QR codes. So maybe you could speak into this, Leila, where a lot of people had QR codes, and sometimes we have to work with the universities, especially in California, for ticketing systems. And a lot of people were having issues with that. Can you explain what was going on there? What do you know about that?
Yeah, so pretty much I, like many others in the line, we had tickets, we had QR codes that we believed would work. And when we would reach the front of the line, we were told that this didn't work because we had only filled out a student interest form or not the correct form. We were pretty much all being told different things. And I believe it was part of an orchestrated effort to ensure that the hall wasn't completely full, that the students were allowed to enter. And as you mentioned, this was the one entry point. So we were kind of left with, we're stuck in this line, but I can't even leave because I'm going to be attacked by these Antifa thugs. So we were pretty much cornered.
You were sitting ducks. Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. And the QR codes, nobody knows why they weren't working. I'm a Berkeley Law student. I mean, you'd think that I'd use my Berkeley Law email to register for this event through Turning Point, through the school, and somehow it's not working. It's for the number of people that I saw it not working for, it's very odd.
Yeah, you almost assume that there was some sort of sabotage going on. Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to speculate wildly, but it does feel. I mean, we've run into this before in Memphis. We had a situation where the actual administration and the school were sabotaging our events. So it doesn't surprise me that you would go into a deep blue university and there would be shenanigans at play. Blake?
It's really incredible to read this flyer they had because it includes the line.
Yeah, put it back
A few examples, it's in tiny text. A few examples of Kirk and Turning Point's typical rhetoric should make clear that Turning Point's actual method for our university community is not about free speech or freedom of debate. It is about the intimidation of free speech, especially in an academic setting. It is about bringing an end to free debate. These people, they just accuse you of exactly what they do. They're really despicable vermin.
Well, and there was fights that broke out, and I think we have the
fights that broke out. They attacked our people.
They attacked. So what happened in this instance is there was a guy out there with a red freedom shirt, and it had a cross on the back, and he was saying Jesus is Lord, whatever, and he's getting antagonized by these people. And then one of these Antifa goons comes up and rips the cross in his chain off of him. The guy runs to go get it, and then the guy proceeds to physically assault him, punch him, bloody him. The cops, in their defense, probably didn't know who started it. They tackle both of them, and they arrest him. Yeah, this is the bird's eye view of this altercation. And you can see he rips the chain, and then he's running after to go get it, and this guy just proceeds to just pound him, grab him by the collar, and punch him in the face a couple times. The guy kept going after him, and before the cops ended up tackling both of them and putting them both in handcuffs. I don't know the status.
And there was video of them taunting him afterwards.
Yeah, and they said, "You're bleeding, white boy. You're bleeding." So then so the other goons come up and they racially taunt him for being a white guy, and the guy that grabbed the chain certainly doesn't. He looked dead in the eyes. Let's put it that way. Looked dead in the eyes. I mean, these are really sick people, and this was an intimidation campaign. I'm going to keep you, Leila, for just another segment here because we're going to hit a break. But I want to keep hearing about your personal experience because we haven't even talked about what happened inside. Total triumph. The kids stood strong. The students stood strong. The event went on. Total packed house. All for Charlie. I'm really proud of you guys. You guys showed a lot of bravery last night. We're going to keep you for another segment, keep discussing this. We will be right back.